we're going to discuss about the internal fields in solids and liquids. So what is an internal field? So when a dielectric material, either a solid or liquid, is subjected to external electric field, each of the atom develops a dipole moment and acts as a electric dipole. Hence, the resultant field at any given atom will be the sum of the applied electric field and the electric field due to the surrounding dipoles. And this resultant local field is called as the internal field or the local field, and is defined as the internal field or the local field is the electric field that acts at the site of any given atom of a solid or liquid dielectric subjected to external electric field, and the resultant of the applied field and the field due to the all the surrounding dipoles which produced by the dipole moment. I repeat once again, in a dielectric materials, either in solids or in liquids, the atoms or molecules experience not only the external electric field but also the electric field produced by the dipoles. The resultant electric field acting on the atom or molecules of the dielectric substance is called the local field or the internal field. Now, we'll understand what is the expression for the internal field in the case of solids in one dimension. So what is the expression? Now we'll not going to discuss about the derivation for internal field. We're going to take only the expression for internal field. First, before taking an expression, let us consider an dielectric material kept in an external uniform electric field of strength E in the material. So let us consider an array of equidistant atomic dipoles arranged parallel to the direction of the applied field. Let an interatomic distance be d. So interatomic distance is d and the electronic polarizability of the dipoles be alpha E. So that we can write an expression for the internal field EI is given by EI equal to E by 1 minus 1.2 into alpha E by pi into epsilon naught into d cube, where EI is the internal field and E is the applied external field. Alpha E is the electronic polarizability, epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space, and d is the distance between the atoms. So we have taken here the figure. In this figure, an array of atoms we have taken. So this is for a one-dimensional case. In one dimension, so the atoms are arranged in a regular in a periodic manner. So let us take one reference point as X. So the one atom is X. So the nearest atoms in one ray, so to X is A1, A2 and B1, B2, C1, C2, etc. like this. So there is a distance between the atoms also, where D represents the distance between the atoms or atomic distance. So the dipole moment will take place when an electric field is applied to the dielectric materials. So we can find the internal field in a dielectric materials. So what is internal field? I already explained you. The internal field will develop not only due to the applied external field and also due to the field, the electronic field which is produced by the dipoles. So this resultant field is called as the internal field or the local field. So the expression is only, you have to remember, there is no derivation for the internal field. Next, what is Lorentz field? So Lorentz field we can understand based on the internal field only. So Lorentz in 1930 developed a method for the crystals, which has a three-dimension manner. So for a cubic crystals, he has developed this method to understand what is the internal field. So to understand that, let us take n quantities alpha E and epsilon naught and D are the quantities. So when EI is greater than E, so the internal field is greater than the applied electric field. So in case of that, the dipoles contribute positively to the electric field at X, which enhances its dipole moment. In a similar way, for any dipole other than X, the dipole X joins the rest of the dipoles to continue positively to the electric field, which will induce a large dipole moment in the dipoles in question. So in this, you can understand that which has developed a large dipole moment in this dielectric material. In 3D case, the general equation for internal field, it is expressed as EI equal to E plus gamma by epsilon naught into P. So where P is the polarization and the gamma is a proportionality constant called internal field constant. In case of three dimension, if it is a cubic lattice, then it can be shown that gamma equal to 1 by 3. So in this internal field are in Lorentz field, where I place we have written E Lorentz equal to E plus P by 3 into epsilon naught. So in gamma place we have replaced 1 by 3 in this expression. So this is the expression we can use for cubic crystals, which has a three-dimension atoms. So next we'll going to discuss about the Clausius-Mosotty equation. So what is Clausius-Mosotty equation and what is the use of Clausius-Mosotty equation? So Clausius-Mosotty equation we can use to find the dielectric constants. Consider an elemental solid dielectric material of dielectric constant Er. So if N is the number of atoms per unit volume of a material and mu is the atomic dipole moment, and then we can write an equation, dipole moment per unit volume will be equal to N into mu. So call this equation as 1. Here, the field experienced by the atoms in the internal field EI, hence, if alpha E is the electronic polarizability of the atoms, we can write this equation mu as mu equal to alpha E into EI. So let us take this expression is equation 2. Now, if you substitute equation 2 in equation 1 in place of mu, you're going to write alpha E into EI. So that equation 1 becomes dipole moment per unit volume will be equal to N into alpha E into EI. Let me take this expression is 3. So now the equation 3, the left side, so this is the left side, it is same as polarization P. So that dipole moment per unit volume will be the polarization. So polarization represented by the symbol P. Now we can write this equation 3 now. P equal to N into alpha E into EI. So we can call this expression is 4. Now rearrange this expression for we want EI. So where EI equal to P by N into alpha E. So you're taking N alpha E to the denominator to P. So that this equation EI equal to P by N into alpha E. You can call this expression is equation number 5. So the equation, where P equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 into E. So in this expression, we want only E. So take E one side and remaining all other terms, you can take it to the other side. So epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1, take to the denominator to P. So that E becomes E equal to P by epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1. Call this equation as 6. So also we have the equation for internal field. So internal field EI equal to E plus gamma into P by epsilon naught. So you know this expression, you call this equation is 7, where gamma is the internal field constant. Now substitute for EI and E from equation 5 and 6, and you substitute equation 5 and 6 in equation 7. So you're going to substitute EI and E. So where EI is P by N alpha E equal to P by epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 plus gamma into P by epsilon naught. So in this expression where P is common term, so you can take common term right side first. So P you can take it common term, and the left side P and the right side P get cancels. And also you can observe here epsilon naught is also a common term in both this equation. I mean right side of the equation, epsilon naught and the epsilon naught. You can take epsilon naught common term. So we have taken 1 by epsilon naught into remaining other terms are 1 by epsilon naught, epsilon r minus 1 plus gamma. Now, where gamma is 1 by 3, you can substitute now in place of gamma equal to 1 by 3. So the above expression will become 1 by n into alpha e, that is equal to 1 by epsilon naught into 1 by epsilon r minus 1 plus 1 by 3. So why you are using 1 by 3 here? Because of Lorentz field. So you're considering an internal field in the material to be a Lorentz field. So we can substitute in place of gamma is 1 by 3. So this equation will become here taking an LCM, the denominator. So 3 into epsilon r minus 1. So the numerator will become 3 plus epsilon r minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So that this equation right side will become epsilon r plus 2 by 3 into epsilon r minus 1. So the left side equation, you have taken epsilon naught to the left side. So this left side equation will become epsilon naught by n into alpha e. So rearrange this expression. Epsilon r minus 1 by epsilon r plus 2 will be equal to n into alpha e by 3 epsilon naught. So this is the expression for Clausius-Mosotty equation. You call this expression is 8. So this equation is holds good for crystals of high degree of symmetry. So the equation provides the relation between dielectric constant epsilon r, which is macroscopically measurable quantity, and alpha E is the electronic polarizability, which is an atomic property, that is a microscopic property. So this is about the Clausius-Mosotty equation. So this is very, very important derivation for the external examination. Next, we're going to discuss about the types of dielectric materials. So based on the dielectric materials are classified into three types. So we know that there are three types of dielectric materials: a solid dielectric material, liquid dielectric material, and a gaseous dielectric material. Since their main purpose here is to provide an electrical insulation, and for charge storage purpose, we use the dielectric materials. So in electronic or electric machines or electronic industries, we use these dielectric materials. So in electric machines and in appliances are designed by using appropriate dielectric materials for a suitable for their working, so that they will have both long life reliability and trouble-free working abilities. So these dielectric materials have a great importance in electrical machines and appliances. Are available in extremely diverse variety. So mica, glass, synthetic materials like plastic, inorganic materials like cloth, rubber, organic materials like paper, and a paper is dried with a mineral oil or vegetable oils. High density papers are preferred in DC and energy storage capacitors. This is about solid insulating material. Next, liquid insulating materials. So liquid insulators are transformer oil, silicone fluids, viscous, Vaseline, fluoroorganic fluids, etc. Mainly liquid insulating materials are used in transformers, switches, circuit breakers, etc. During the working condition, the windings in the electrical devices get heated due to both eddy heating and a joule heating. So to reduce that eddy heating and a joule heating, so we use these liquid insulators. Liquid insulators allow the windings to cool faster by conveying the heat efficiency to the surroundings. And next are gaseous insulating materials. So gases are good insulators and work well as heat transforming media. Under the insulator gases category fall air, nitrogen, inert gases, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. It is a general observation that air provides insulation between the over-air transmission power line without any cost. You know that here we get naturally, so we no need to pay for that. So easily we can use air for the transmission of a electric current. So we are using this air which provides insulation between the over air transmission power line without any cost. We can use it. So during a manufacturing process, the insulating materials are subjected to several types of stress such as thermal, mechanical, electrical. An insulating material subjected to external electric field is said to be under electrical stress or electric stress. Higher the field is the stress depending upon the type of material and also the physical dimension. Apart from the applied electric field, temperature is also another factor which affects the performance. Chemical structure of any organic dielectric is sensitive to temperature. Higher the temperature, higher will be its degradation in its ability to withstand the field. The degradation shows up the hardening or distortion in its shape. Such degradation leads to the electric failure of the device. Next, we're going to discuss the one of the application of dielectric materials, that is in transformers. The applications of dielectrics in transformers. A transformer consists of two insulated conducting coils wound on a core. The core is also insulated. In case of high voltage transformers, further insulation is required to provide between industrial windings in the coils and also between a core and the coils. Hence, their size grows. The size of the transformer increases also with the operational AC frequency. The insulation is provided by using a paper, mica or cloth. The paper is impregnated the varnish or wax. to fill the air gaps. If there are air gaps, then since the permittivity of air is less, ionization of air occurs at high voltage, that leading to the excessive heating which damages the insulation. This effect is called corona. Mica is used to guard against corona. However, when the operating voltage cross 3 kilovolt and a kind of uh, oil called transformer oil is used. It is based on mineral oil. So transformer oil, it is a mineral oil and which is used in a transformers. Apart from guarding against corona up to or above 100 kilovolt, the oil helps to keep the transformer cool. It remains stable at high temperatures. However, for a large size transformers that is used in high voltage transmission lines, the cooling by water circulation is provided. So this will complete the application of dielectrics in transformers. Thank you.